here's the agenda for today. And I know that Rachel already put this agenda into the chat box. So if you click on it, you will have access to it. Google Meet is very much like Zoom, but I think it's just as cool. There isn't one that's better than the other. I think you may have a little bit more control with Zoom because it's a private company. But again, I really, really like this form of having a meeting with your students, and you can be very creative on here. So there's a couple of different ways that they allow you to start your meetings, and I just want you to be aware of that. One way is if you open a new tab in your little apps, one of your choices is a Meet. So you can just click on Meet, and the one thing you just hit join or start your meeting. Okay. Another way you can do it is through Calendar. Calendar is the only way that you can create a pre-existing meeting. So in your calendars, I'm going to just get a calendar real quick. And mine's crazy, but so tomorrow, I'm just going to click on tomorrow, and I'm going to say tech meeting. And you want to go to see where it says right here, add Google Meet video conferencing. This is brand new. This was not here before. So before, you used to have to go to more options. So I'm going to add a time, and I'm going to say it's going to be from 10:30 to 11. And you can add your students if you want. You really don't need to. If you started putting in, I think a group of students, if you create a contact list, you can put all of them in there. So I think I actually have one for Kirkmere. See, I have Kirkmere staff. I could just drop all them in there. You don't have to keep doing it every time if you make a contact group for your students. So I'm just going to pick Andrea, Greg, and because that's just what comes up. Those happen to be the people I work with all the time. I'm going to add that video conference, and I get that link. If I want to add my documents in, this is where I'm going to do it. So if you have something that you want the students to work with, you're going to put it in here before you start. So I would just go out to my document. I would get my link, go to my calendar, and I would paste it in there and hit save. And I can choose to send or not send them informations that they're going to get this. I'm just going to hit don't send because I'm going to delete this when I'm done. And you can see I have this right in here. The third way that you can create one is in Classroom. So you have to make sure that if you're in Google Classroom, you need to activate this inside of your Google Classroom, because when they added it, everybody had already set up their classrooms for the year. So I think I have a random class. I'm just going to go down here to my old Google certification class. And when I go into settings, you're going to need to go down to Meet and generate Meet link. I'm going to click on that, and it's there. I have to hit save. Now, when I go back into my classwork stream, it shows up right here at the top. When I click on this, it automatically opens up. There's no way in here to set it up beforehand. So you would have to do that in Calendar. You'd have to create it in your calendar, and they would get an email or a link about the meeting. The fourth way, which is new, which is really cool, which is in your email. And it's funny because it used to be there and they took it out and now they put it back in. It's over here on the side. You can see that it says start a meeting or join a meeting. So right now I can just click on this, and my camera automatically opens up and I can start a meeting, and then I can add people as I would like. The last way is an extension. So the only thing with the extension, you can see I said you must send an invite first, is that you can see up here at the top of my screen, I have the little Google Hangouts extension. When I click on it, these are the people that I've done extensions with, or I've talked with before. If I want to start a new one and I've never done anything with you, so I'm just going to pick Michelle Whitmer. The
just
first
so
thing
you know,
is, what?
We can't see your pop-up. So just.
Okay, wait a second. I'm going to go back real quick, and I'm going to share my whole desktop. So I'm going to hit stop. I think if I share, Can you see my whole desktop now?
Yes.
Okay, can you see my pop-up?
Yes.
Yay! Okay, so I'm gonna slide this over a little bit. There we go. So when I open this up, you can see I typed in Michelle's name when I hit new conversation, and I typed her name. Oh, where was she at? There she is. It says to her, you have to send her an invitation first. So once I send her an invitation and she accepts, I will get something that looks like a video chat or a text chat. So you can actually have conversations with people right as I'm going. So I sent Andrea a hello, and then I would let her know that I was starting a video chat, and I can see that she's on, and I would just hit my button at the top and it starts to call her. And I used to like this one because it actually sounded like it was calling. Yep. And now she's on the other end, so I'm gonna hang up. So that's just simple how you use the extension, which is a little bit different than using it any of the other ways.
Tony has a question. Google Meet and Google Hangout is the same thing?
Yes. Yes, they're changing it to Google Meet. For some reason, Google Hangout, they took it away, and now it's Google Meet. So, is there any other questions?
Patty just says, wow, that's amazing.
So you can also have this on your phone or your iPad. You can do the have the Google Meets app, and you can call from it right from your phone or your iPad. So when I used to have a class, and this was actually kind of fun, we used to have Where in the World is Whoever it was. So our librarian at the time was Violet Simpson. She would go somewhere for like lunch or something, and it would be like, where in the world is our librarian? And we would call her, and we would kind of have to guess where she was in Youngstown. And I had middle school students, so they were able to guess. But you could do this with anybody. You could do where in the world is, and you could pick somebody that doesn't live near here, maybe somebody that lives in LA, and they're like, they could ask him, are you east, west, north, or south in the United States? And then they would have to keep narrowing it down to where they are in the country. So it's kind of cool. You can also do with other people. So if you wanted to have an author come in, or a guest, a museum guest, somebody could walk you through a museum this way, that would be fantastic. But it's just really easy to use. So I'm just going to go ahead and go in, and this is going to be your opening screen that you see when you try to start a Google Meet. So if you want to go ahead and try that, you can just go ahead and open it up if you know how to do the split screen. When you start, you must hit join or start meeting, and you have to give it a name. So I'm just going to call it practice. And then down on the bottom, it actually shows you how to schedule it, give you directions on how to schedule it if you need to schedule for later. So I'm going to hit continue. As soon as it does that, you're going to see this is how you turn your mic off and on. Red is off. If it's not red, that means it's on. So I'm just going to turn my camera off for right now. You have these 3 dots for your settings. When you click on your more options, you have an option for closed captioning. You also have a settings option, which is inside of here, where if you can see my microphone is responding. If it's not, you might want to look in there. If you have an external mic, if you have headphones that are plugged in that have a mic on them, you might have to do something like that. And your speakers, of course, are going to be the ones that are built into your computer unless you have ones that are connected externally. Video, you can see right here that mine says Snap Camera because I already installed this. I'm going to go to the normal camera right now, and you can see it's telling me that it's turned off. I'm going to hit done. So that's the camera that I'm going to use. Now,
We have a couple of questions.
Sure.
Cheryl says, so it actually rings the person you're trying to reach?
Yes, it will.
And then Tony asked, do the students' emails have Google Meet attached on the left-hand side also?
I would say, I don't think so. No. I'm going to assume that's only a teacher option because they can't just do a Google Meet with anybody. And that has to be pushed out by our administrator. So Access pushes that out to the people they want to have it. I'm almost positive they don't, but since they just put it in 2 days ago, I'm not going to say no because I haven't actually looked. But I would assume no, because there's a lot of things that teachers can do that students cannot in Google. So those are your basic settings. When I'm ready to join, I just hit join. Now, again, this one is on the fly, but it gives me all of this information because somebody can call in on the phone. They do not necessarily have to have a video camera. They can call in with the phone. I can also add people right here. So if I go down and I hit Rachel and Andrea, and let's see how show. And I saw Gary. And you can see just as I type their names, they go ahead and they're dropped right in. Now you can see I can just call you without the video if I wanted to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to send them an invite. And they're going to receive the invite to get in. Now, remember when I said if you attach a document and you want students or somebody to have it while you're in here in the calendar, that will show up right here under attachments. So if I was on the video call that I scheduled in the calendar, I would just tell all my folks to go down in the right-hand corner and pull up the attachment in the bottom left-hand corner. So this is where that attachment would show up for students. But since I did this on the fly, it's blank. But I will go back and show you that in a few minutes. So I'll ask Rachel and Andrea and Michelle and Gary, if you guys want to join me on my call, you can join me. Just make sure you turn off your audio. So that way everybody can take a look at what you're going to see. And if there's anybody else that wants to get on here, I don't remember who else I had, I can just go in. Geez, oh man. I see some questions. Are there some questions before I?
Gary said that he didn't get it. It was in my Gmail, Gary.
Oops, sorry. Oh, geez, I left the meeting. So now I just kicked everybody out. I'm sorry. I'm going to send you a new one anyways. So I'm going to call this one demo. And I'll try this again. I have to apologize that I just kicked everybody out. We're going to try it again, Gary. And you're going to look for the one that says demo. Why not, Cheryl? I think you're in there, so I'll add you too. And how about, I don't remember who else was in here. So I added Patty Horvath too, because I saw her in here. So I'm going to send you guys an invitation right now. It should show up in your email. If I wanted to add somebody else on here, and I'm going to turn my camera off, I would go ahead and click over here on the top right. And this is where your people are going to show up. What is happening? Oh, sorry, once somebody gets in, turn off your audio, Gary. Can you turn off your mic?
Working on it.
There's kind of a lag as it starts to load.
Okay. So that's one of the things you're going to want to make sure that you do is you make sure that everybody mutes. And I think I can mute him. So I muted Gary. All I have to do as the teacher is click on their picture and do that. Andrea, are you presenting to me? That's funny. So over here, you see when I had this, that it said when people started getting in, I have an application and it actually started taking attendance. So that's why I clicked on when it asked me to sign in. So that's how I'm going to know every time somebody gets in and you see this little checkbox right here, there's going to be a spreadsheet that shows up that's showing me who came in, and you can see the times at the top. It shows me at that time who was in the meeting and when. And this isn't the first time I've done it, so you can see the dates at the top that are there. Oh, geez, oh man, are you kidding me? I didn't mean to end that again. When I keep swiping across my mouse, it keeps ending the meeting for everybody. But I'm going to go back. People are going to hate me. And this has to do with the way that I'm sharing my screen right now, why it keeps, oh, there again, they're in it, so I can join back in. Sorry, I kicked myself off again. So I can see that right now that those are the ones that are in there. So have to apologize for that. You can also see, if you guys want to turn your cameras off, you can do that too. The one thing that I didn't like about Google Meet was that I couldn't see myself. So then I could not see what the students saw when I was on it. So I added this extension at the top that's called Enable Grid View. And when I do that, it will see where it says include yourself. So if I had my camera on, it would show. You could also choose show only participants with video. You can take that off if you have students that are on there that are calling in by phone. So you can see that here I am, and it says Andrea's here, but because she didn't have her video on, it put it up in the corner. You can also choose to highlight the speaker, so now I know that I'm the one that's talking, okay? And then I can also go down here on the right and decide what layout I want on. So if I want the tiled view, it should give me all tiles. If I go down here, it would also give me just a spotlight view for just the person that's on, but it's being overrun by now by the grid view because it's an extension I have turned on. So you also have the option when you're in here, this is where you're going to record your meeting. So if you're in your meeting and you need to record it, your record button is in the bottom right left-hand corner where you would want to do that. You also have the option, of course, to present your screen. So if I hit present now, I should get a pop-up. I can choose if I want to do my entire screen, which you saw when I shared my desktop that it showed the pop-ups. If I don't choose my entire screen, it's only going to show you either the Chrome tab that you're on or the windows that I'm in. And it gives you an example. So you can see I have a Zoom tab open and I also have this Google Meet open. I can choose which one I want to share. So now while I'm presenting, you can see I can no longer see them. That's the only thing that I didn't like about the presenting. Well, actually, when I'm presenting in Zoom, I can't see them either because it's off, present view. So if I wanted to go back in, I would have to go back and look at my tab that has the record button on. Are there some questions? Because I'm seeing a lot of orange pop up at the bottom.
It just says, how do you do that on a phone? No options to mute video or audio on a phone.
Oh, when you start it on a phone, is that the question?
It was Gary's question.
Yes,
So-
on the phone, all it shows is the people and your presentation, but it doesn't give me any options to mute myself, turn my video off, do any of the things that you're saying. If I was on a computer, I might be able to, but on the phone, I'm not able to.
You used to be able to turn your camera off. So I don't know, I'd have to go, I can go and add that later where that setting is for you to turn the camera off, because I know you can in the, because Violet used to turn her camera off all the time. You just have to, you have to know where that setting is. So I'll make sure I share that with you if you need to turn the video off if somebody's using a phone.
I know that you can on an Android phone.
Yeah, I know you can on an Android phone too. So I don't know if you're using an iPhone.
On my iPhone, it was on my picture. Like when my picture popped up, I had a choice of hitting video camera or microphone. But that showed up on my, so I don't know.
I'm on an Apple phone, and when I click my picture, I get like a thumbtack.
Okay.
And
What do
that's-
you get when you click on yours, Andrea?
I get the microphone, the phone. It looks like a phone, like hanging up in a cradle, and it has the video. I'll screenshot it.
She's going to screenshot it for you.
Okay, because I can't unmute either.
Okay. On the phone is what
On
you're
the
saying.
phone. I'm unmuted on the meeting.
I gotcha. I gotcha. Oop. So you can see I can click on people. Oop, there it goes. It's going a little crazy right now. Not seen that before. But in the grid view, it's showing you everybody. So again, in the present mode, I just want to make sure that you know that it's going to take you out to another screen, and you're not going to be able to see those students until you go back to the screen. But I can tell you, even in my Zoom meeting right now, unless I open that tab on the side, or if they have their camera off, I can't see them anyways. So I just want you to be aware of that. So I got to make sure that I am change the layout. Okay. Back over here. So one of the other extensions that's really cool that they added is you can see at the top of mine, I have these emojis. One of the problems, one of the complaints that they had was that students could not respond. So if you mute everybody, how do you know what's happening? So somebody created this extension that if I, as a teacher, would say, how are you feeling today? They could hover over this and they could put a thumbs up, and you can see at the bottom right-hand corner, it tells you that how Tiffany's feeling. Okay. So, and I don't know why mine's going crazy. I've never seen this before, but again, I don't know. So if somebody else had this on this extension on, and this is something that we can push out to students, but this is brand new, that they would have it on their device. And they would just say, so if you were like, what did you think about that? It will show up in the bottom corner of each person, and you can see their response to whatever question it is that you're asking them without having to have audio response. That would make me sick. I got to turn that off. Whew. Sorry about that. So we talked about the grid view, which normally works. I don't know why it's not today, probably because I'm presenting. Oh, and you also have this screen capture mode that once this is on, so you could take a picture of it if you didn't have the attendance, and it would capture all of your students that are in your meeting at one time if you didn't hit the record button on the bottom right. So I just wanted you to be aware that is an option also. Now I know there's another extension, Rachel. I don't know if you want to talk about that right now. And I think I added that extension that you like. There's a way to record your meetings, to take the chat. Is it a chat box or just records what everybody's saying? Because I don't see a chat box here.
If you have it on tactic, it will, and then you turn on closed captioning.
Okay, wait, turn on closed captioning.
Mm-hmm. And then do you see the tactic box in your?
Is it this one?
Mm.
I can't remember. I clicked on it yesterday. So I'm going to go down. We're going to turn it on. Let's see what it looks like, because this is it. And I don't know if this is the extension. So we're going to walk through it. I'm going to put it on. I thought I did, but maybe I didn't. So I'm just going out to the web store. I think it was TAQ. Right?
TAC-TIQ, I believe.
Oh, TAC.
TIQ.
Tactic. So I'm going to add that on, and it looks like a little cloud.
Mm-hmm.
So when I can use it, it says it will turn, there it is. It's pink right now. Turn that off. So I have to sign in. And is there anything that I need to do? Oh, is my closed captioning on? Let's take a look. It is on. So my closed captioning is on. Don't see it popping up though. Let me turn my video on. And I'm going to put me in. And closed captioning is on. And then I'm going to click on this little puppy right here. Oh, look, it pops up at the bottom.
That's just the closed captioning though.
So how do I get?
I've had mine on since the beginning. So can I share my
Absolutely, share your screen.
screen?
I gave you Zoom so you can share your screen. I can't hear you if you're talking, Rachel.
Okay, yeah, I just figured out that I was on mute. So I've had it on this whole time. And you can see that Tiffany's the only one that was talking, but that's because everyone else in the meeting had their mic muted. So some of the actual things that were said were from other people. But this will take a transcript of the whole meeting. And then if there's anything that's important, there's an option to pin. So if I click on that, you see how it pinned this? And then I can pin certain important things. Then at the end, I have the option to turn it into a PDF or a Google Doc, and it'll be your whole meeting. Anything that you pinned will be in bold. So that's basically about it.
Yeah, because this doesn't have the chat box option that you would have in Zoom, where you could keep that information. So that would be the only thing that I would say that would be a. Oh yeah, there's a chat box. I'm sorry, I have to apologize, but I don't think you can download it. That was it. You can't download the chat box over here. So it would be very good to have that recording on. What I liked over here about the nods too, I wanted to say, is that you can go in and you can choose who you are. When I came in, I was like yellow, you know, like the emoji. So they can go in and they can make these unique to themselves. And they can also turn them off and turn them on if they don't want other people to view them. So just be aware of that. I have two recording screens open, so it's giving me a little bit of a, there we go, turn that off. But I would definitely suggest, if you are working with a bunch of students and you were going to do this with them and you wanted them to have a Google Doc, I would go into your calendar and I would add that in there into your meeting. So that way during the meeting, all they would have to do is click on it and open it up. But they would definitely have to know how to do those two windows. That would be a teaching moment for your students, is, you know, how do I have both of those windows open at the same time? And you can see that the chat box at the bottom now has it popped up when there was a question. So I'm going to go back over, or I could open it up. But as the teacher, if somebody says something in the chat, you get an alert at the bottom that opens up to tell you that somebody's having a conversation. So that is out there also. But this is a very easy platform to use. You just click open, and I end my meeting. I'm going to end this one right now. I'm going to hang up. It asks you to leave some feedback. Usually I don't do that. You can do that if you want to. Does somebody have a comment? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I heard somebody, so I just wanted to make sure. So the other thing that I wanted to tell you about is that snap camera that is really, really cool. So you can see, I think I put it on here. Here's the Snapchat camera. When you click on the link, oh, I don't have the right link in here. Everybody makes mistakes. It's called Snap Camera. I'm gonna make sure I fix that. And I click on it. You can see it says download. So you want to make sure when you hit download, it tells you which version you have to have. So it actually says Windows 7 up here at the top.
That's crazy because when I looked on mine, it said Windows 10.
Yeah, you have to agree at the bottom. You just have to check the box. I did not put my email in. I just wanted you guys to know that. I did not need any information in there from them. And then I just hit download for Mac because that's what I have, but you'd hit download for PC. I can tell you that after I put this on, it took about a day for it to kick in. But in order to use this in Meet, when I start a meeting, you have to turn that on before you start. So I would have to go over here in my settings.
You can see your tactic popped up.
Yep, I see that now it popped up since it was already in there. So that will take me in. I have to turn my closed captioning on. Here's my video. I can choose my other camera that I have, my Snap camera, and hit done. Up here at the top, I don't think you can see that because I quit doing that. You can choose, and I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna do full again so you guys can see this. Oh, is it on desktop? Can you see my whole desktop? Can you see up here where I'm pointing, the yellow?
Yes, yes.
Okay. When I click on that, you see the ones that I have here, these are options. So if I wanted flowers, I now have flowers. If I wanted to be, if I wanted something different, I can open the Snap camera and maybe I want to be a spy. So if I put in spy, it will give me all these options of I could be some kind of spy, or I could be spyware. So you can see that over here. See, it tries to say that you're a spy. I could be a cowboy if you're doing a movie about, or a story about cowboys. It'll put a cowboy hat on you. And then I would just close that. Didn't mean to do that. Once I have these, do you see how it saves up here at the top, the last ones that I was on? So maybe I want to be a spy. So you want to pick what you want to have before you start your meeting, and then you're going to hit join meeting. And I'm not going to add anybody, but you can see this is how I would present to my students. I could go in and be a spy. And I'm not sure. Well, let me change. Sure will. Like how it made my neck really skinny.
So
But,
Heather and Brian think it's hilarious.
I know, right? And you know that if you did this with your students, they would love it. This would be something that they would think is the coolest thing, that you could come in and that you would know how to do that. But like I said, you would just go in here and then decide if you want something else. And that's why I just went into flowers, I think, and I hit enter. And it gives you all these choices of different flowers that you can put on. You can make your own if you're that crafty or techie. They allow you at the bottom to make your own. I'm not all about that, so I like to just steal other people's ideas. That's usually what I do anyways. So I just happened to pick this one. I closed it out and it's up there. But if you would want to use more than one in your meeting, you don't want to go and search, I would have this set up beforehand so you could go back and forth between the different objects you can have on. So if you were being two characters in the story, you could actually go back and forth between the two characters in the story.
And I did see on there that you can click the little star to favorite the ones that you like.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. You can favorite them. You can favorite them. And I did do that. You can see that this is one of my favorites. I put a favorite up here. Actually, it was the spyware. I thought I did it with the blooms, but I guess I didn't. And then it will always be there, but it's not necessarily in this drop down list. That's the only thing. You'd have to go out and come back in if you didn't save it. But that was really cool. It's one of my favorite things of why I would use this, because what primary kid, I don't care, even what middle school kid wouldn't want you to be a cool character from your book, even though they say that they wouldn't. So
There is a lag with the tactic after, like it doesn't start transcribing immediately.
Oh, there it is. Look. And it all tells me that yeah, I really like that there's a transcription feature when this comes on, when you have your closed captioning on. Definitely a way to capture the conversation and save it.
And it will have the students' names like as they're talking.
And I know that they did an update on Google Meet, because they used to be able to change their names to whatever they wanted, and they are no longer able to do that. Now, the one thing that I'm going to tell you is that while I'm talking to you right now, I don't know if you can see, but this camera is still on. My green light, you can't see it, but I can see it because I'm looking at it, is still on. I have to turn it off. So when I turn it off, then my camera gets turned off. So just be aware of that, that sometimes it does stay on. And you can see that this has the dates and the times of who was in here. And this is from the 9th, and it tells me what time it was. And then like at 9:13, it tells me who was in there. So I can see who was in there and at what time. And every time somebody joins or leaves, it will take attendance. So that's how you know what's happening and when. But pretty cool if you want to know who's in there and keep track of your students and how long they were in there. They can't lie to you and say, yeah, I was in there the whole time and you were presenting and you couldn't see your screen. So
Cheryl wants to know, where is that extension? And I think she's talking about the Snap camera.
the Snap camera, you have to go and search for it. So if I go to Google and I put in Snap camera, this is actually a download for your computer. So you would have to click download, and I'm just gonna copy this and I'm gonna go back here, sorry, and I'm gonna change this for you because I didn't realize that I put in the wrong link. Sorry, that was an accident. So when you click on that, it's gonna take you to here. So it says as long as you have Windows 7, you should be fine.
Unless you're me.
Unless you're Rachel, her computer's having all kinds of problems right now. Like I said, you do not have to put your email in, so you don't have to do that. You have to click I'm not a robot. If you don't click on that, see there, now they're live. And you can hit download and it will download right on there. And then you're just gonna open it up. It should show up at the bottom of your screen and you should be able to open it up. But yes, you will be the coolest teachers ever if you can do that. Do we have any questions on anything I went over on Google Meet?
I don't see any. Did you want me to show you real quick how you can download the transcription?
Yes, please.
Okay.
So I'm going to stop sharing on Zoom.
Okay. And I'm going to go over here. So you can see this is where the meeting was ended. And again, if everyone's audio was on, there would be different people's names. So I looked at the little cloud icon. There was a little blue dot next to it, which meant that the transcript is ready. I can choose which type of format I want it to go into. And then I'll actually choose, like, say, the clipboard. So I can see here, these are all the things that were said. And because it was only her, normally it would have like almost like a play, like who said what. But these are the ones that were pinned, that were bolded. So you can go in after the fact, like key points that you want them to focus on and bold those. And then when you're ready, you can download it as a Google Doc and like attach it to your classroom or whatever, if you need people to have notes from your session, or you could just keep it for participation.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So somebody did ask if you can use the Snap camera with Zoom, and you cannot. That is not an option. It doesn't give you an option to change your camera. And when I watched the video on it, it told me that you couldn't. So I don't know if there's been an update since 2 days ago.
I know that I was having so many problems, but it actually was an option on mine. With it wasn't like something that you would see, but where it says start video, if you hit the caret instead of choosing your integrated camera, it was an option. But again, mine never worked and it messed up my camera itself. So
yeah, when I watched when I looked at it and I watched it, it says it's not. But again, they are changing features so quickly for this COVID and remote learning that I'm just trying to keep up sometimes right now. So it may be available in the last 2 days with Zoom, but I know 2 days ago when I was watching this and I added it and I started using it, I loved it. At that time, it said you cannot, it was only for Google Meet. But again, if that company wants to make any type of money off this and integrate, Zoom may have purchased part of it because everybody was using it for educators, because there weren't a lot of educators using Zoom before 3 weeks ago. So, ooh, Brian Mears is sharing something. I'm just curious what that is. Oh, geez. I'm going to share my desktop just because you have to see it. There's his picture that he shared with his Snap camera that he added. That's really cool. Yeah, that's really cool. You can definitely do some really amazing stuff, and you could probably use any of these pictures that you have. You could probably put them in the header of your Google Classroom, or you could put it in the header of your Google site if you wanted to. So if you had like a specific theme, you could actually put somebody with a specific theme, and then it will save that, those, like you said, you just did a screenshot, and then you can save it and you can upload it. Thank you, Gary. I did not think so. I looked on my Zoom and it wouldn't let me, but again, they're changing things so quickly. I just wanted to make sure that that was not, yeah, that was not an option. So that's how Google Meet works. I really like it. I really like the Google Meet attendance and the extensions that they've added on here to make it a lot of fun. But again, if you're scheduling this meeting and there's things you want, you need to make sure that you schedule it in your calendar. So that's the only pretty much option you can have to have that link before before the time that you're on the computer. So I hope you guys play with this and you find that you like it, because I don't know how long we're going to have Zoom for. So that's why I wanted to make sure you guys were all aware of Google Meet. And if anybody's getting Google certified, you need to know how to use Google Meet. Is there anything else that anybody would like to add about Google Meet? Has anybody used Google Meet before? Oh, and I do want to say that there's actually, I think there's actually, if they still have it, there's actually a place where you can go in Google. It's the Google Plus, where you can go and find another teacher someplace else and do like one of these Google Hangouts or Google Meets for another school. And then if you were in your 3rd grade and they were in their 3rd grade, you would go and ask them some questions. I think it's like 5 questions on where they are to figure out where they are in the world. So that would be a great geography for those of you that have to teach, you know, places. Even if you're just trying to teach location in your own city, like in your neighborhood, that would be another thing too. You know, are you standing on something green? Are you standing on something black? It would give you a little bit of teach them to ask questions to find, you know, different answers, questioning skills. Yes, Cheryl, you can connect to classes in other countries. It's all over the world. And I have that spreadsheet. I will put that in. I'm just not sure where I have that spreadsheet right now because I had joined it. But I don't know if you've known, Google Plus used to be public and they've changed it to only educators. So a lot of the communities that are in here got deleted. So it's a little bit more research, but there is one out there for you to do those talks with everybody else. And I'll put that right in here at the bottom, and I'll have a link for you on where you can sign up and connect with other educators around the country. Okay. Are there any other questions?
I don't see any.
Okay, well, I appreciate all of you that showed up today. I hope you play with us and have fun.